family, what's up? What's going on? Welcome to DolFans United, the platform for DolFans. Let's get right into it. Today is a sad day in Dolphin Nation, Dolphins land, man. We lost the GOAT, man. The GOAT of coaching, Shula, man. Definitely rest in peace. We hope and pray for his family. It was his time to go, unfortunately. So he gets to spend more time up above with God. And that's all you could ask for. So our hopes and prayers go out to their family and to fans everywhere, old and young. You know, we're going to do this thing for him. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get this thing right. We're going to do this thing for him, man. 90 years on the earth. You know, an excellent 90 years, 26 years with the Dolphins, winning as coach in all of NFL history, way ahead of everybody. I heard a stat that said, or somebody commented and said, Belichick would have to have 10 plus wins for 7 straight seasons just to reach the record. It's crazy what he was able to do with the Dolphins and the standard of excellence that he set for the team. The man had 346, I believe, 347. I'm shorter than one. 347 wins for the Dolphins over 26 years, man. And the man was a legend. The man was a definite legend. And from what I hear, all around good guy. So rest in peace. And, just wanted to start out with that. I'm a Dolphins fan. He was part of the Dolphin family. So wanted to start out with that. Now we're going to get into the video. All right. We're going to get into what you all are here to see. All right. What's next for Tua? What is next for Tua? We got him on the team now. What's the next step? What's next? What's next? Should we start him? Should we sit him? What are we doing with Tua this season? And I'm going to tell you what my opinion is. Once again, it's always my opinions. What my opinion is of what we should do with Tua. Should we start him? Should we sit him? Should we start him? Should we sit him? I'm sure there's a lot on one side that say we should sit him. And I'm sure there's a lot on the other side that say we should start him. Me, I am with the sit him crew. All right? I am with the sit him crew. I truly and genuinely believe they should sit Tua down this whole season. Don't let him do anything at all. Don't let him lift the football. Now, I'm saying this, right? But I'm going with my head over my heart, because my heart wants to see Tua and see what we got in him in training camp. Just let him go out there and play and see what we got in him. But my head is saying, you know what? Let's let this guy sit. Let that hip rest all the way up. Let them ankles rest all the way up. Let him come out next year, see what he got. I still believe he should sit no matter what this whole year, but I just now believe that he shouldn't do a thing. He shouldn't touch a football, figuratively. He shouldn't touch a football for the whole year. Sit him down. Now, if I felt like if I wanted to go with my heart, I would say play him in the preseason and training camp, preseason, just let us see where he is, what he needs to improve on, and then still sit him. I would still sit him no matter what. But as of right now, how I'm feeling, we shouldn't even let him play in training camp or in preseason. Although they do not hit quarterbacks in training camp, they got the red jersey on, I just feel like it's not time yet. Let the man sit. Leave him alone. Don't let the man do anything. Let him do some light work on the side, some rehabilitation, whatever you want to do to strengthen his core, to strengthen those areas of concern, and let him come out next year. All right? I got a reason why, though. I got a good reason why. I believe that if we let Tua sit, all right, if we let Tua sit, we're going to put the Dolphins in an excellent position. Why would the Dolphins be in a better position if Tua sits? Well, if you let Tua sit, right, then you got a battle between Josh Rosen and Fitzpatrick, all right? Fitzpatrick won that battle last year. Rosen has a chance again to win it. I know they're not just going to hand Fitzpatrick the keys, just not Brian Flores' way. Right now, he is named the starter, all right? But there will be a competition. Now, I heard TD talking about this, and I partly agreed with him, all right? If Rosen wins out, okay, and beasts this season, let's say the man throws for 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, over 3,500 yards. We go 10-6. We make the wild card or we make the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. If he has a great season like that, it puts the Dolphins in an even better position. Now, TD says if he has that kind of season, if he has a good season, he balls out, we need to keep him on the team and let him and Tua battle it out the next year to see who wins. And if Tua wins out, then we can trade Rosen away. And if Rosen wins out, we keep him for another year, and then we see what we're going to do at that point to let either him go or Tua go. Let him sit behind Tua for a year. I disagree with that last part. I do agree that we should trade Rosen. I just don't agree when we should trade Rosen. I believe that we should trade Rosen if he beats this year and he has a great season. Trade him now. Why would you trade him now? Is because, in my opinion, when are you going to have more leverage? Are you going to have more leverage when Rosen is going into his 5th year or when Rosen is going into his 4th year? All right? This is all money at the end of the day. You got more leverage if you trade him going into his 4th year because some team will be willing to give you a little more to pay a little less. Now, if he's going into his 5th year, that means you've exercised that 5th year option as a Dolphin. You would have to do that in order to trade him because after his 4th season, if you would have kept him another season, you would have to pay him that escalated rate for that 5th season. You see what I'm saying? We would have to make a decision about Rosen if he balled out this next offseason to exercise that 5th year option so that he would play out that season and then the next season play out his 5th year. You see what I'm saying? So in order to take a chance on sending him off for even better draft picks, we're going to put ourselves at risk in the cap. Okay? Just doesn't make sense to me to do that when you can say, look, we're going to give you Rosen, all right, and you've got 2 years to make a decision on him after he balled out. I take those chances. It might be a little less money back. I mean, not money. We might get a little less capital back. But you take that chance. Okay? You take that chance. Because if they're going to give you a 1st versus a chance at 2 firsts or a 5th because he's a bust that next season, I'd rather just take the 1 first. Okay? And that's that 2 and that 5 for a 1st, I'll take it. I'll take it. And a winning season, by the way, I'll take it. It's worth it to me. But to me, you keep Tua. If he balls out, I appreciate you, bro. You had a good season. We're gonna get this. We're gonna go ahead and get this draft capital, and we're gonna ship you off somewhere because Tua is our guy. That's it. That's me. If you don't like it, put your dislikes, put your comments below. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you like it because that's how I feel like that's what I feel like would be the best scenario for us. That would be the absolute best scenario is if Rosen wins out, balls out, and we ship him away for a 1st round pick. Oh, because you best believe some people go come knocking next year if he has that kind of season. They don't need to see, let me see if he has one more season like that. No. These people, man, some quarterbacks, right now you got Cam Newton sitting around. You had Andy Dalton out there. Now he's with the Cowboys. Jerry, he's He's doing some sneaky stuff over there. But you got quarterbacks sitting around right now. You know, they can't find work. Best believe some of these other quarterbacks that are on teams right now that teams feel good about, some of those same teams are going to be looking for quarterbacks next year. And they're going to be in a rush to get a young guy who's proven himself. Rosen, if he indeed proves himself. Okay, that's best case scenario. You sit Tua, you find out what happens between Rosen and Fitz. If Fitz ends up starting, cool. If Rosen ends up starting, great. Because then we find out what we got in him and then we ship him off. There's no coming back. You ship him off. Okay? That's how I feel about that whole situation there. Tua, I understand the other side. I understand that if you start Tua now and he gets hurt now, better him getting hurt now than next year. I get that whole side as well. There's a side that says, you know what? Let's find out how strong Tua's core is, how strong his hip is. Let's find that out now. Let's throw him in the fire. Let's see if he gets hurt. If he gets hurt now, we know, okay, we got an issue here that we got to deal with, and then we can, you know, attack that issue. Or the side that also says, well, forget about that, just gaining experience. I also get that as well. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years, guys. Although I do understand, Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years. Pat Mahomes sat for a year. You know, we don't need to throw him in the fire. We really don't. We need to take our time. That's what we were doing before. Had that worked out for us? Has it worked out? No. Let's sit the man. I understand that side, but let's sit the man down. Don't let him do nothing this year. Absolutely nothing. Leave that man alone. Let that man sit there. Watch from the sidelines. Don't even put no jersey on you. Be in some sweats with your little thing in your ear, holding the clipboard all year long. Next year after that, you can get into a competition with whoever the backup is, whether that be Rosen if he doesn't pan out that well this year, or whether that be somebody else or Fitzpatrick. I still believe at the end of the day he's going to have to battle to get his position. I don't believe Flores is the type of guy that's just going to anoint him the starting quarterback. I don't think that works out that well because look at Tannehill. He did not win the starting position. He was given the starting position because he never had to actually fight for it. Things just didn't pan out. We don't want to go make the same mistake again. We've got to allow him to compete and earn the starting position. That way he feels like he's got to do whatever it takes to keep it. Not be reckless now, Tua. Don't go out there and put yourself at risk again of injury because you got to feel like you got to keep the position. But being smart about it, taking the calculated risk needed to keep the position. Okay? So that's how I feel about that. That's how I feel about Tua. When I say I'm fed up with mediocre Dolphin play, quarterback Dolphin play, I'm so fed up with it. I took the time today to write down each of the Dolphins' past 20 seasons stats for quarterbacks on touchdowns. Okay? We're going to go over this from 19 all the way to 2000. And we're going to go over the quarterback play. Side note, I was talking to my brother a couple weeks back, and I raised the question. Like, we were talking about quarterbacks and how it's just time for us to finally have a quarterback that we can rely on and have a passing attack that we can rely on, because it's been so long that we've been watching this inept quarterback play. Now, I had already known that Tannehill was probably our most prolific quarterback passing in the last 19 years. That was just going off of memory. I had already known that because I just don't remember any other quarterback throwing for as many touchdowns as he has. But I didn't know how bad it was, all right? So we're going to go over this real quick because we don't need to be making the same mistakes that we made before. And I do believe that we actually have a quarterback now that can give us Drew Brees type numbers, okay? Sustained excellence, throwing for such and such yards or in such and such touchdowns every year, and not just a one-off, okay? So I was talking to my brother, and I posed the question: have we had any quarterbacks throw for 30 touchdowns in a season? Like, have we had any pass after Dan Marino that has thrown for 30 touchdowns? We've seen quarterbacks throw for 55 touchdowns. I was just looking for 30. So I got a list, all right? Let's go through it and see if we can find any quarterback that's thrown for 30 touchdowns. Heck, I'll make it one better. We'll see if we can find any quarterback or quarterback duo, put quarterbacks together in the same year that had thrown for, whether a quarterback got benched and another quarterback that came in. Let's see if we can find collective quarterbacks in one season that had thrown for 30 touchdowns. Let's go. Okay, so last year we had Fitz and we had Rosen, okay? They combined for a whopping 21 touchdowns, both of them, okay? Fitz threw for 20. Rosen threw one touchdown. Now, I could have sworn Rosen had thrown more touchdowns than one. This is from the Dolphins website. They're not going to take touchdowns from themselves. If anything, they probably add touchdowns, which they're not going to do either. They both collectively threw for 21 touchdowns, okay? They threw for 21 touchdowns. 18, Tannehill and Osweiler, okay? Tannehill, Osweiler. They threw for 26 touchdowns collectively, okay? 2017, Cutler and Moore. 23 touchdowns collectively. Collectively now. Tannehill and Moore in 2016. They threw for 27 touchdowns collectively. 2015, Tannehill threw for 24 touchdowns. Okay? Threw for 24 touchdowns. 2014, Tannehill threw for 27 touchdowns. Okay? That was his best season. Threw for 27 touchdowns by himself. That's a pretty decent season. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination. It's not a great season, but it's a decent season. 27 touchdowns, okay? Now, why am I bringing up touchdowns? Because we need points, guys. You got to score points to win. If you don't have an excellent defense, you got to score points to win. You need at least 24 points per game if you don't have an excellent defense. These points got to come from somewhere. Yes, you're going to get points from rushing, but you're going to really need your points to come in the passing game because the game has been geared to make passing more efficient. It just has, okay? So we got to be able to pass the ball. We got to be able to get the ball into the end zone through the pass game, and we've been inept at it for years, okay? Now, let's keep going. Tannehill had 27. Let's see if anybody topped that even collectively. 2013, Tannehill threw for 24 touchdowns again, all right? 2012, Tannehill's rookie season. Tannehill and Moore combined, okay, Matt Moore, threw for 13 touchdowns. 2012. 13 collectively. Let's keep going. 2011, okay, Henne and Moore collectively, Chad Henne now, and Matt Moore collectively threw for 20 touchdowns. All right, and this is the season where they were done with Chad Henne. They didn't want to see no more. Okay, they were just done with him. So he got benched, and then Matt Moore came in and kind of saved the season a little bit. And had a decent season there at the end of the year. 20 touchdowns collectively. Previous season, 2010, Henne / Tyler Thigpen. All right, they played together in that season. Thigpen, I said pen, but Thigpen, 17 touchdowns collectively. 2009, Henne by himself, 12 touchdowns. 12 touchdowns. 2008, Chad Pennington, okay? Great season for us. We went 11-5, made the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. Chad Pennington throws, 5 interceptions against, what was it, Baltimore Ravens, I believe? Yeah, 5 or 6 interceptions. He saved all his interceptions for the playoffs. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. It was so Dolphins, that saying, it was so Dolphins, all right? 19 touchdowns in 2008, all right? And that was a great season for a quarterback for us, okay? The man only threw 19 touchdowns, okay? Part of it, we had the Wildcat. I get all that. And then as we go down, by the way, from 2008 on down, we relied a lot on the running game. 2007 notwithstanding, we relied a lot on the rushing game. So these numbers, they'll make a little more sense to me going down because we had Ricky Williams, we had Ronnie Brown for most of these years. So we relied a lot on the rushing game, okay? So I understand that the numbers on the passing game are not going to be as prolific because we relied a lot on the rushing game. Anyway, we're going to continue. All right, so here we have Trent Green, we have Cleo Lemon, and we have John Beck, 2007. 12 touchdowns combined. All three of those guys played for one reason or another. 2006, we had Dante Culpepper, and we had Harrington, okay? Joey Harrington. 14 touchdowns combined. 14. Culpepper now, okay? And then we took him over Drew Brees. Knee injury versus shoulder injury. The man, I think he had 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and they yanked him, okay? Something like that. Then the previous year, we had Gus Farrat, all right? And we had Rosenfels, Sage Rosenfels. 22 touchdowns, okay? 22 touchdowns. It's not as bad as some of these other ones here. That's actually respectable for the Dolphins, all right? 22 touchdowns collectively. 2004, we had Jay Fiedler and A.J. Feely. 18 touchdowns collectively. All right? You see the pattern here? Fiedler, Greasy the year before, 2003. 16 touchdowns collectively. 2002, Fiedler and Lucas, 18 touchdowns collectively. 2001, Fiedler alone, 20 touchdowns, okay? Not bad, I guess, for the Dolphins anyway. Not bad. And then 2000, Fiedler had 14 touchdowns on the season. Okay? Now, granted, like I said, these 2000, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, we had Ricky Williams, okay? So he was our bell cow. We handed him the ball on first, second, and third down most of the time. Like we ran him into the ground pretty much to the point where the man had to retire because he couldn't take it anymore. All right. You're telling me that 27 touchdowns is the most that we've had in about 20 years, okay? 20 years. We got to want better. We have to want better, and we should demand better from our team. This is absolutely and utterly ridiculous to me how we've never seen in the 2000s a quarterback or collective quarterbacks throw for 27 touchdowns. Over 27 touchdowns in a season. It's ridiculous, all right? I am not done, okay? By no stretch of the imagination am I done because we have not talked about our golden boy, Dan Marino, yet. All right? Our golden boy, Dan Marino, the last time he threw, and the only time he threw for 30-plus touchdowns in the 90s was 94. In 1994, he had 30 touchdowns. That was his last time in the 90s throwing for 30-plus touchdowns. His best years were in the 80s, guys. Those were his best years. Okay? And I think it was that, 84, sorry, 85, 86, where he went 48, like 28 and 44 touchdowns, okay? And then after that, he was just in the 20s, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And he got to 94, he threw for 30 plus touchdowns in the 90s, only once, okay? Only one time. Different league back then. Passing wasn't as easy. Otherwise, if he was throwing now, he would have in the 30s consistently. It was just a different era. So we understand that. He was a beast back then now. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like our passing game was anything to shine it or to be happy about. It was pretty average. It wasn't as bad as some of these seasons nowadays, but it was pretty average compared to what we're seeing now. Okay? So we've been pretty average on the passing end for a long time, guys. Let's hope Tua changes this, okay? Here goes some notable average quarterbacks now, okay? Because I know some of you go, well, I mean, how many teams really have quarterbacks that throw for 30 plus touchdowns? I mean, it must be pretty rare if Dan Marino didn't do it a lot. Yeah, you're right. It is pretty rare. Except the 2000 and up passing game was a little more open. So we got more quarterbacks here that are scrubs that threw for 30 plus touchdowns. You'll be surprised at some of these guys, okay? All right. So Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer threw for 30 plus touchdowns twice, okay? Average quarterback. He's not by any stretch a Hall of Famer. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Average quarterback, threw for 30 plus touchdowns twice. Okay? Now, mind you, the last 20 years, we haven't had one. He's done it twice. Dante Culpepper, all right? The guy that we had here in 2006. He did it twice before he even got to us. Okay? And in one of them, he threw 39 touchdowns. All right, anyway. Vinny Testaverde did it once. Okay? Vinny Testaverde. Okay? Jets' old quarterback. He did it. All right? By no stretch, a Hall of Famer. Jeff Garcia did it twice. Okay? Jeff Garcia threw for 30 touchdowns twice. Andy Dalton has thrown for 30 touchdowns in a season. Okay? He's not that good. Heck, Blake Bortles, okay, has thrown for Blake Bortles has thrown for 30 touchdowns in a season. Blake Bortles, okay, has thrown for 30 touchdowns, 30 plus touchdowns in a season. And then last but not least on this list of guys that has thrown for 30 touchdowns that are notable average guys, Ryan Fitzpatrick threw for 31 touchdowns in that one good year with the Jets that he had. Under Chan Gailey. 31 touchdowns. And we can't find collective quarterbacks in one season to throw 30. There's a problem. There's a problem. Now, throwing touchdowns does depend on wide receivers getting open, wide receivers catching the passes, running the correct routes. Also, it depends on linemen being able to block for long enough for you to throw to the open guy. I get all that. It depends on offensive coordinators drawing up the right plays. I get all that. But we couldn't have a fluke season where we threw for 30 touchdowns, like one that just came out of nowhere, like everything fell right for us so we could get to 30 touchdowns. That's all I want. I just want to see a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns. Is that a lot to ask? Is it really a lot to ask for us to have a prolific passing offense just once in the next 10 years? I mean, this is sad stuff. This is what the Dolphins fans have been dealing with for almost 20 years now. This year will be 20 if we don't get it. If we don't get it done. This is why I say we need to sit Tua, okay? So we give his body the best chance to heal so we can hopefully resurrect the Dolphins into prominence. Okay? There's, I'm sure, a few other ways to do it, but this is the way I see us getting out. Okay? Let's hope that Tua is not just another average quarterback. I don't believe he will be, but I also don't want to rush him out and ruin his confidence. And next thing you know, we got another 4 or 5 years of Tannehill. Tannehill didn't do too bad. 24, 27, 24. That's not too bad, actually. You know, a 3-year run. It's average, but, you know, it's upper echelon average. It's like the little higher up average. Okay? That was our best quarterback since 2000, Tannehill. Some of you don't like Tannehill. So hearing that, it's actually upsetting you that the best quarterback that we've had in the last 20 years is Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill. Okay? We've got to want better. We've got to want better for our team. All right? I hope this wakes some of you guys up. Okay? We have a chance now with Tua Tagovailoa. We got a chance. We got a chance to right this ship. We got a chance. All right? Now, does it take more than just Tua? Yes, it does. We got some wide receivers. We're trying to shore up the offensive line. They're trying to do it the right way. In order for us to finally get this thing right, we've got to be willing to do some things we haven't done before. All right? We've got to be willing to do some things we haven't done before. I'll holler at you guys next time, man. Be easy. Fins up.